Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports Game. We have world exclusive breaking news. JARRELL Miller, Big Baby Miller, who's got the big fight coming up against Daniel Dubois, has posted on his Instagram. What is that? Uncle James Ali Bashir with Big Baby Miller saying, "You fired him. Now I'm hiring him." Very interesting news here. BWTM Sports. What do you think of this information? What do you think of this news? Let's discuss it here on BWTN Sports. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be big. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTN Sports once again. So JARRELL Miller posted on his Instagram page, letting the world know that Dubois' team fired Uncle James Ali Bashir, and now he's talking about hiring James Ali Bashir for the big fight against himself and Daniel Dubois. So you know me, you know BWTM Sports. We're not going to waste any time trying to find out or speculate. We may as well hear it from the trainer's mouth himself. So without further ado, we're bringing into the house none other than Uncle James Ali Bashir. Good morning, Uncle. It's almost 3 in the morning here almost 4 a.m. in the morning here in Nigeria. But this is news that I just had to call you about. What on Sam's earth is going on?
It's a decision. It's a business decision, and I think that Daniel Dubois' team, his brain trust, if you will, made a poor judgment in their assessment of what I did. I spoke out against it because I thought that Daniel, for whatever the reason, I don't know what his reasons were, because Daniel and I never spoke. But I think that he made a poor decision in halting the fight with him and OLEKSANDR USYK for the heavyweight championship of the world. I think that Daniel's frustration and anger, because I don't think that Daniel was hurt. I don't think that he was angry. I just think that he was just frustrated and emotional, and for whatever the reason, it prevented him from continuing the fight. And I think that was a bad mistake, a bad mistake. And because I spoke out against it, the father did not like that.
So again, what were your words that were spoken that were taken so to heart?
Well, I thought that, that like I said, I think that Daniel was angry. I think that he was very emotional. But you can't let emotions get in the way of you doing your business the way it's supposed to be done. And I think that that was the case, that Daniel got angry about the fact that they did not call a penalty against USYK. For USYK went down. He said he got hit low. Like I said, who am I to say that the punch didn't hurt? But I don't think that was a low blow. I think it was a justified punch. But USYK's team said it was a low blow. So you understand, who's to say that it wasn't, But okay. It looked like the same punch that Andre Ward landed against Kovalev in their fight, and they called that a justifiable punch. So.
What about the punch that Joshua threw to Usyk? It seemed on the same borderline as well, the body shot.
Yes, yeah, pretty much. Like I said, it depends on what part of the ladder you're on. If Usyk had landed the same punch, they would have called it a justifiable punch against Dubois. So it just depends on what part of the scope you're on.
Okay. All right. So now they, according to Drew Miller in his Instagram post, he says they fired him. Now I'm hiring him. The boxing fans and the boxing world will want to know how much of what Jarrell Miller has validity to what it's saying. How close or how far are you away from?
I've spoken to Jarrell Miller, and I haven't made a decision yet to actually work with him. We've spoken and we have yet to speak again, and then we'll make our plans from there. Whether I'll go with him or whether I'll pass on it.
How would you feel in one fight being in one corner and in the next fight you're in the opposite corner? Has that been done before in boxing? Is that a normal thing to happen? Or
of course, I mean,
so in one fight you're with the team, and the next fight you're against the team.
Emmanuel Stewart made a career out of doing that. I mean, he had Oliver McCall when Oliver McCall knocked out Lennox Lewis. And the next time he was in Lennox Lewis's corner. So
yeah, but that wasn't directly after the next fight. Lewis had a series of fights afterwards, though.
It does not matter. It's the nature of the business that we're in, and it doesn't have to be the boxing business. Let me say something to you. If I'm your attorney,
yeah,
and you fall out with me,
yeah,
and you decide to get another attorney, and then the company that you're opposing hires me. So who you get upset with? You get upset with me for working for the company that's opposing you?
Oh, you got to make your money, haven't you? You got to make your money.
Exactly what I'm saying. It's a business. Life goes on. Let me tell you something. Daniel Dubois, Don Charles, and Daniel Dubois' father, Daniel Dubois' promoter, Daniel Dubois' manager, they all are going to make money on this big fight that's coming up. I'm thinking maybe a couple $1 million. So everybody's making money. So what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to sit home and be loyal to something that's not loyal to me, or do I go out and work? I go to work.
Okay.
I'm a professional boxing trainer, probably at the top of my game. I think I've got to be one of 3 best trainers in the world currently. I don't think there are many trainers in the world that's even on my level. So I'm taking my trade to the top of my game. I'll speak to Jarrell Miller later in the week or early next week, and we'll decide. We'll decide.
What are the deciding factors for you?
Numbers. If I like the numbers, Jarrell and I will make a deal.
What are the deciding factors for you to have Jarrell Miller? Because I know we've talked for years that how you'd want your training camps to be. You're the number one trainer, nobody else in the camp. No, rah, rah, rah. You're quite disciplined in what you want. So does that change?
In my position is it depends on what I'm being hired to do.
Right.
What's my perspective? What are the perspectives, of me being in the camp? Am I there for to give suggestions? Am I there as a trainer? Do I point out the things that I think that's essential in him beating Daniel Dubois? It depends on what I'm hired to do. Once I understand what I'm hired to do, then I'll decide whether I want to act in that role or not.
At this point, I mean, Jarrell's undefeated. He's a well-known heavyweight. He's got a bit of a mouth in him, which is good for publicity. So you can't go in a room with Jarrell Miller and people not know who Jarrell Miller is. Like I said before, I remind Jarrell Miller
got a big mouth. He's got a big mouth.
No, but that's not a negative. That's a positive. Even Riddick Bowe had one of those.
I don't care. I don't care if he's got a big mouth or if he's a church mouse. I don't care. You know, I'm just there to do a job, so I don't get personal.
Yeah, no, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that's gonna bring attraction and people would that this makes it the most exciting fight or the most interesting fight on the card.
Well,
Because
Jarrell Miller is he's the big mouth of the boxing today in the heavyweight division. Anyway, you know, he talks a good game, and for the most part, being that he's undefeated, he's backing it up.
I mean,
he wins. Look, Jarrell Miller wins this fight. He makes a great case for taking on Deontay Wilder or Anthony Joshua. And
is he capable of winning?
Right now, that would be bigger than Oleksandr Usyk boxing Tyson Fury.
Do you think Jarrell Miller's got what it takes to beat Daniel Dubois?
I don't know. I haven't been in. I haven't seen Jarrell Miller since we spent time in Austria years ago. But the fact that he's undefeated, you know, and I did see the fight between him and Lucas,
Mm-hmm.
and he took some big shots in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
He took some pretty big shots, and Lucas can punch.
Exactly.
He can punch, and Jarrell took some big shots in that fight, and he gambled a little bit, you know. So I'd have to say, yeah, that he can get in there and he can possibly beat the Daniel Dubois. But having said that, Daniel Dubois can, you know, come in and probably do the same to Jarrell Miller. It depends on who does what in preparation for the fight.
How will you feel in the opposite corner to Daniel Dubois? You were camp before we were with Daniel Dubois as an advisor. Now you're going to camp with Jarrell Miller. Is that just professional, no hard feelings? Or how is it for you for that?
Repeat the question, please.
How will you feel should you join Jarrell Miller in camp? Fight night comes and you face one another. Final press conference and you have to back and forth.
I would hope that Don Charles, whom I consider to be a friend and a little brother, and Daniel Dubois, you know, I would hope the two of them would understand my position, to put themselves in my place, and then say, okay, we just doing business, you know. Somehow I don't think it'll end up like that. I think that, you know, that they'll harbor feelings against me, but they've got to understand that life goes on. This is a business, and life goes on, and the business has to be taken care of. If they terminated me, you know, I think that Don is they put Don in a catch-22 position. He'd be damned if he do and damned if he don't. But I do think that this is a lesson for Don, and I tried to point things out to Don while we were together. You know, I tried to pass on the knowledge of business and the knowledge of boxing while I was with him. You know, Emmanuel Stewart would never let nobody say, I want that guy out of the camp. Emmanuel Stewart, wait a minute. No, this is my guy, and he stays. Emmanuel Stewart would have told Dubois' father, no, he stays. You can take your son, but that guy stays. You can't tell. Emmanuel will stand up for me, but Don went with the father. The father said, look, I don't want the guy around my son no more. How about your son is a grown man? He can make his own decisions. How about that? You know, it pisses me off that when I got the news that the father doesn't want me around. I said, the guy is not 10 years old. This guy is 20, 25, 26 years old. So how you gonna say that, oh, I don't want this guy around my son anymore? How about your son make his own goddamn decisions? So now when I look at this here situation, it pisses me off while I'm talking to you. It's just something in my gut.
But do you think that had to happen for this to happen now?
Pardon me?
Do you think this had to happen for this to happen now for the Jarrell Miller, the second opportunity, as they say?
Ask the question again. I'm trying to digest this.
Do you see this as, because this happened, it could be a second opportunity for you to be this position now of the Saudi Arabia situation? Do you see this as a second opportunity for you to kind of wrong the right or right the wrong, as they say?
Right what wrong? I don't get it. I'm not righting any wrong. In my opinion, I was with probably one of the greatest trainers in the history of boxing, if not the greatest trainer. And I was with him for 17 years. And I always had a free hand. I always had a free hand. When I was with Emmanuel Stewart for 17 years, Emmanuel gave me a free hand. If I said something and somebody didn't like it, and they said something, Emmanuel said, well, he's his own man, What can I do? He's his own man. That's why I got him here. That's what Emmanuel would say. He's his own man, and I don't think he did nothing wrong, That's what Emmanuel would say. All right? And he's perhaps, if not the greatest boxing trainer in the history of boxing, he's right there in that top 3. So he would say, hey, my guy stays. Nobody's going to push my guy to camp because I need the guy. That's what Emmanuel, he wasn't shy about that. He would say, I need the guy. I need the guy here.
Okay. So in terms of Jarrell Miller and the photograph that you took, when was that photograph taken?
About 4 days ago.
So you've seen Jarrell Miller in terms of the sort of shape he's in and the condition.
My guy was boxing Jarrell Miller. They boxed in the gym. Jarrell Miller came into. We were in the gym, and Jarrell Miller walked in the gym and said that you got boxing. I said, I got my guy. He said, yeah, well, put him in, and they got in. They boxed.
How was it, Vlatinko and Jarrell Miller? How was that in terms of sparring?
It was a heated affair. When you got you got one undefeated heavyweight, you got two undefeated heavyweights. Two undefeated heavyweights. They was mixing it up. Because Jarrell Miller said, "Look, I'm not letting this young guy come in here and to my Brooklyn and take over." And Lazarenko said, "Look, I just come from the root, the tough guys that are coming out of Ukraine." So it was a heated affair. It was a very good boxing. I liked it.
The state or the condition that Jarrell Miller was, does he look ready to fight, or is he near that? Because we're a couple of weeks away from December 23rd, right?
Look, they boxed 8 good rounds, and neither of them gave an inch.
So Jarrell Miller's in good shape then, from what you saw.
Boxed 8 rounds with undefeated Vlazarenko. Vlazarenko is 19-0 with 16 KOs. So just to stay in there, and Sarenko was in there with Jarrell Miller, who also has a lot of knockouts. So nobody's giving an inch when you got to have an affair like you got 2 undefeated guys and 2 undefeated heavyweights, and they're banging. And it's not a big ring. They're banging. They work.
Just as a side note, would you stick Sarenko in with Miller now, from what you've seen?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'd stick Sarenko in with anybody in the division right now. I mean, he's 19-0, 16 knockouts. You can only work with a fighter so long before you look at. He's 19-0. He's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to take those chances now.
Okay. So, I mean, it's not much time left between now and fight night. So, negotiations would have to happen pretty quickly between yourself and Miller.
Yes, I would think so.
When are you going to see? I mean, he's just put that on his Instagram page. So he seems pretty confident that he's going to get you.
Yeah, well,
Is that the horse before the cart or what?
No, the saying is the saying goes, money talks and BS walks.
But okay, on a scale of 1 to 100, and we were going to put Uncle Bashir on that line from 1 to 100 on the scale, how far down the scales or up the scale are you towards a Miller partnership or away from Miller partnership?
Right now, I think we're 50-50.
50-50.
So I think that once JARRELL, Miller, and I sit down and look each other in the face, eye to eye, and hash out the details, then we could possibly have a deal as far as Saturday. Between now and Saturday, we should have a deal.
And then in camp, then is it you're going to be working strategy with him? Is that enough time to get strategy in place for Dubois on all these things?
It's going to boil down to a fight. Daniel Dubois is a young, hard-punching, capable heavyweight fighter, and he's been the champion now. He's had a taste of the championship, and I'm sure that he likes that.
Mm-hmm.
By any stretch of the imagination, it's going to be a tough fight. I don't think that it'll be an easy fight for either one of these guys. I think that both of them is going to have to give some and take some. It's a tough fight. I don't care, because both of them has got to be thinking, this is my opportunity. This is my opportunity. Both of them are thinking they've had setbacks. JARRELL's been out 2-3 years because of the drug situation.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Dubois has failed against Joe Joyce,
mm-hmm.
dropped by the cruiserweight kid.
And then the USYK fight.
And then he comes back and loses to OLEKSANDR. So both of them are in the same situation where they've got to win. And they can't just win. They both got to win. They got to win impressively.
Do you have any thoughts on, and I don't know if you're aware of it, Jarrell Miller's comments to Eddie Hearn, promoter Eddie Hearn, where he rolled up on Eddie Hearn and said to him, if, come to New York, I've got boys waiting for you almost.
That's goes in one ear when I does. Yeah, I'm not interested in that.
Good. Okay, fine. I just want to ask your opinion on it, because obviously it would be, naive of me not to ask you a question about that subject.
And training, that's as far as it goes.
Okay. Do you have any concerns about, obviously Miller failed those tests before? Have you got any concerns that he may fail those tests again, or is that not a concern to you?
Like I said, it's of no concern to me. If I was the trainer, then I would be very concerned. But like I said, I don't know what my role will be in this training camp. I don't know what my role is going to be if I decide to do it.
What about cheerleader?
Pardon me?
Cheerleader.
No, I won't be a cheerleader for nobody. I got too much pride to be a cheerleader.
Good.
I'm a respected trainer in the boxing game, and people all over the world know who I am.
And this is why I asked the question.
And
that's why I asked you the question. So you're not going to go in there rah 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 cheerleading. So
no, nobody's ever seen me in a role where I was a cheerleader, because I've worked with 2 great champions and 3 great champions: Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko, and OLEKSANDR. And I've never been a cheerleader in either one of their camps. Just check the history. There's the film. The film will tell you what I was. I'm too proud to be a cheerleader. So
it'd be a consultancy role or a head coach. Those are the 2 areas I probably think that you would probably see yourself in.
Yeah. And if I get the impression that the boxers now listen to me, I'll pack my bags and get on a plane and come home. You got to listen. You've got to listen, and you got to endear what I tell you.
Okay, let's put it this way. Were you impressed with what you saw of Jarrell Miller when he was sparring Sorenko? I'm trying to lead to the point of how far down the line are we? Because there's not much time between you getting in with Miller and the fight night. So any negotiations have to be pretty swift.
Yeah, I was
So
impressed.
50, so 50-50.
I was impressed to watch them go 8 rounds. I was impressed with what I saw.
Okay.
You know, just for them guys to stand up and come out of there unscathed. You know, nobody got their jaw broken. Nobody got their hand broken. You know, it was just amazing. You know, they went in there and they did their jobs. And
How did they?
I asked Vlasarenko, "Are you all right?" He said, "Yeah, I'm okay. Let's go." You know, so hey.
How was it when they both got out of the ring afterwards? Was there a handshake and hug or anything like that? I mean, I'm trying to ask.
No, they were very cordial to each other.
Okay, cool. So again, I'm trying to get a gauge on the state of Miller.
That you know that Jarrell Miller, if we form an alliance, I think that we need to go to Saudi by the 10th. By the 10th of this month, I think we should get on the plane.
Where are we now? It's the 7th today, so it's 3 days.
Yeah,
today's the 7th.
Yeah, we need to get in Saudi now. You know, to make the adjustment, the heat. You know, because the heat is one way when you're on the ground walking in Saudi, but when you get inside that ring, you know you're jumping around and you're wrestling and bumping heads and bumping chests. That heat is going to be like 135 degrees inside the ring. So I think that it'll be wise to get into Saudi now and make the adjustments.
What are the things that are going to sway you in negotiation? Bar the obviously monetary side of things, what are the other things that are going to sway your decision to be with Jarrell Miller?
That I'm going to be respected. All right? Because I'm going to be respected. When I first started working with Emmanuel Stewart, Emmanuel said that I invited you here to my camp because you have a boxing mind. And that's what I want around me, a boxing mind. All right? So that showed me that he was appreciative of me. He said, I'm going to provide you living quarters, money, food, everything that you need is in this camp. I got for you. And everything, it was a smooth sailing. I went all over the world with Emmanuel Stewart, you know.
Wow.
And he endeared me, and I made sure that I endeared him and that I respected him. I wouldn't make a move without Emmanuel. Somebody said something, I said, well, once I run it past Emmanuel, then I'll let you know.
Right. Okay.
I've even had other people hire me, and Emmanuel would call me wherever I was in the world and say, hey, man, you need to get back here.
Wow.
You need to get back here. I need you here. Not in Yugoslavia, not in Australia, not in New Zealand. I need you here in Detroit. You need to get back here. And I said, all right, I can do that. He said, okay, I'll expect you when. I said, I'll be there in 2 weeks. He said, okay, you got 10 days.
Wow.
I respected him. I had great respect for Emmanuel. You know, I learned a lot from him. And he gave a lot. You know, everything that I asked for from Emmanuel Stewart gave his office instruction. He said, whatever he wants, whenever he calls, give him what he wants.
Okay. So what would be your message to Jarrell Miller? Down the camera now. Message to Jarrell Miller. What would that message be from Uncle Bashir to Big Baby Miller?
Invest your life in this fight. Because if you win this fight, the floodgate's going to open. You'll take yourself out of the $1 million bracket, and put yourself in the 20, 25 million, $30 million bracket. Because off of this fight depends on how you win this fight. If you can knock out Daniel Dubois, if you can dog Daniel Dubois, you can be in a fight with Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua. In the next fight, you can probably pick up $50 million. So I'm saying that when you roll the dice, make sure you roll the dice right. Don't go over there playing. Everything from this point on, from yesterday on, from the time of that press conference on, you should be focused, tunnel vision on the task at hand, to go out there and get the job done, to win this fight. Daniel Dubois, I know him. He's going to dedicate himself. He's going to come to fight. He's going to come to fight. He's going to dig down. He's going to dig way down because he knows what's at stake. He knows that he can't lose this fight. He knows that he's going to dig way down. He's going to try to prove something out there. So Jarrell Miller's got to do likewise.
And your comments regarding the Instagram post now? They hired him. They fired him. I'm hiring him.
Look, they have nobody to blame but themselves. They have nobody to blame. They had me. But because I told the truth, you're going to get bent out of shape because I told the truth? You're going to get bent out of shape because I told the truth? I can see if I came forth with a fabrication, but you're going to get bent out of shape because I told the truth? No, I can't accept that. Like I said, I was with the greatest trainer in the world for many years, and he never gagged me. He never gagged me. And I'm talking about the heavyweight champ of the world, Lennox Lewis, Vladimir Klitschko. I always spoke my mind. And he never put a gag on me. He never said, don't say that, don't say this, don't say that. You can't. No. And those people, the people that's with Daniel Dubois, those people haven't even been in boxing for as long as I have. Who are they to tell me that not to say nothing? Who are they? I mean, I told the truth. You cannot get bent out of shape. You think back to John Tate versus Mike Weaver. John Tate had that fight lock, stock, and barrel, and he was giving Mike Weaver a boxing lesson. But Mike Weaver persevered, and he kept on working hard, he never gave up. And with 10 or 13 seconds on the clock, wow, one left hook in the heavyweight championship changed his hand because he never gave up. He never got frustrated. He never quit. He never gave. He just stayed focused and said, I got to keep on swinging, and bang. I think it was 12, 13 seconds left on the clock. He clipped him, knocked him out, and the rest is history.
Okay. In closing, your final thoughts.
It's going to be a fight in Saudi Arabia, and the best guy is going to win. The one who's best prepared is going to win that fight. You know, but if I go there, you know, if Jarrell Miller endears what I have to tell him, then I'll go there and I'll do the best job that I can to see that he wins the fight. You know, it's not an act of betrayal. That's not how I see it. It's an act of business, because I was with the Dubois camp and I would be with the Dubois camp now, except for the fact that the father says, I don't want you here because you told the truth. Because you told the truth. If I told a lie, then I would say, I messed up. I shouldn't have told that lie. But I told the truth. And you say, well, I don't want you here because you told the truth. I said, whoa, where are we getting wrong? What are we doing wrong here? I don't want you here because you told the truth. I didn't tell a lie. I told the truth. So you shouldn't have said that. No. I was in boxing when your son was a little boy, a little child wearing Pampers. You understand? And now you tell me that you don't want me here because I told the truth. Please give me a break. Take a fucking hike. You know, I'm not doing it there. You know, they're acting as though I don't have emotions. I got my own mind. I'm my own man. You know. So yeah, I'm here in boxing to work. Like they one of the reporters referred to me as a hired gun. If that's what it is, that's what it is.
That's exactly what it is.
I earned the right to be a hired gun. I paid my dues in boxing, and it has not always been smooth. So I got a right. I got a right. You know, I'm the elder statesman now. You know, I've been there. I've been under the big guns in boxing, and now I could be moving into that position where I'm going to be the big gun. But I figured that I got to be one of the 3 best trainers in the world right now, as far as knowledge is concerned. But so many fighters that's out there now that's being taught wrong, they don't know the difference between right and wrong. Yeah. You know, they'll win a title, but they don't hold the title. They'll win a title, and then they'll start slipping the minute that they meet somebody who's been educated right in the ring.
Just as we close, any thoughts on the passing of Lennox Lewis's mother, Violet?
I spoke to Lennox. Lennox and I spoke. He's all right. He understands, you know. He understands, you know. I spoke to Lennox. I think it was yesterday. Yesterday morning I spoke to Lennox. And, you know, he's a son that lost his mother, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, Mrs. Lewis was always nice to me. I'm gonna miss her cooking, you know. Because every Sunday I was there to get my share of that food.
Wow. And then I was contacted by a trainer. I can't remember his name again. The one who was training Stavern at one point. Got his name again now. His wife passed away.
His wife passed away?
Yeah, the trainer. Yeah, you know. I think you know. You do know the trainer. He was Olympic. He fought in the Olympics. Got a gold medal. I know who the guy is. I can't believe I've lost his name for a second. Let me pull his name up to you. Charles Mooney. His wife passed away recently.
Oh, Charles. Oh, his wife passed away. Sorry to hear.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear that. You know.
I think it's. Let me check for you. He contacted me not too long ago, and died of lymph node cancer.
Yeah, that cancer is mean. I visited my wife's grave today.
Sorry to hear that.
Because this was the day she passed last year.
Oh, wow.
And I took time out and I drove to that grave today. As I'll do for the rest of my life. You know, I don't care where I'm at, I'm going to always come back to visit her, you know, out of respect. So I understand what I understand what he's feeling.
You, Lennox, and obviously Charles. Wow.
Yeah. And hundreds of thousands of other people all around the world.
Yes.
Going through any setbacks, you know. But the main thing is to stay focused, to keep believing and move on, you know.
Yes.
One thing is certain, that every one of us has a number. Every single one of us has a number. And it doesn't matter what vitamins you take, how many push-ups you do, how many pull-ups you do, and how much you swim. When that number is up, that number is up.
Yeah. I think we can leave it there. Uncle Bashir, thank you so much.
Let me ask you something. What time do you sleep in this?
I was sleeping. And then I woke up. I was sleeping. I slept from 8 o'clock. 9 o'clock I slept.
You the police? Did you?
No. No. This heat out here can wake you up and toss and turn and all the funny animals making noise like bats and sheep and all sorts.
There's some people in Dubois' camp that don't like my positions. They don't like what I say, what I think, and how I act. But Daniel Dubois, I think he likes me. I think Daniel Dubois likes me. I'm speaking for the man himself. Until he says on air that I don't like that man, I don't believe that. I think that Daniel Dubois likes me. It's just something, a message that he sends when he's around me. And that message is that I like this man, I respect this man. That's what I get from Daniel Dubois. So hey, this is business, and business should never get in the way of being civil to each other. This is the business we're in, and then it should never ever get in the way of us being civil to each other. So.
Here we go. I've got people in the comment section. I was gonna go, but here is the comments. Rex for Knife says, Jarrell ain't fought nobody. He's way too easy to hit. That come forward swing for the fences is no different than Joe Joyce and Kawanaki. Your thoughts, Uncle?
Well, I think that the fight that Jarrell Miller had with Lucas showed that he can stand in.
That's the fight I say as well. I said to you, look at that fight with Miller. That's the fight there.
Lucas, one thing about that, the last thing that goes on any fighter
is punch.
Is last thing that goes on any fighter. He could be in a wheelchair, but that power that he has, that the Lord blessed him with, that power is the last thing to go on. And Lucas was landing some punches on Jarrell Miller, and I was impressed that Jarrell Miller took those punches and kept on coming forward and got the knockout. So you got to get some respect with respect to. And this guy, this young man that Jarrell Miller is getting ready to fight, Daniel Dubois, he's a puncher.
Yeah,
he's a puncher. So he's got to put his mental tenacity in place and get ready for a tough fight.
So M. Abdullah says, damn, pray for Dubois. And then Weather Events and Fire says Miller will stop Dubois. He wants to know Weather and Fire, Events and Fire says, did Sorenko get dropped by Miller or did Miller get dropped by Sorenko? Spill the beans, he said.
No. Nobody dropped. It was a heated affair, and they did what heavyweights do. And I questioned Sorenko each time he returned to the corner. Are you all right? Because I'm not inside of a gym, a sparring session, to go out there and get injured or get beaten up. You don't have to stay in there. You just tell me you're not all right, and then we out of there. Because we don't get paid for that.
Okay. So it says here, I think Miller makes Dubois quit again.
I think Dubois is aware of what people are saying about him. I think Dubois has a lot of pride, a lot of dignity, and I think that he's going to be there to fight. This is how I'm looking at the situation. I'm trying to look at it as though I was in the ring boxing, because of the USYK fight, because of the Joe Joyce fight, and the fact that he's knocked down by what was perceived as a
cruiserweight. Yeah, that was the one. It was that fight there that disturbed me.
So I'm thinking now that Dubois got to be angry with himself and say, you know what, I'm going to show them. So this is the kind of Dubois that I would be preparing for. The Dubois that's got his head on right, that says I'm coming to fight. So that's what I would be preparing my charge to get in with.
I think we spoke already about the body shot. We're not going to go back there again very quickly. Ali Bashir, who wins, Fury or Usyk?
I think that Usyk squeaks out a decision.
Okay. Final question. Ask Bashir if the three that fought Klitschko against Usyk today, what happens? That guy's never coming back. That guy that fought Klitschko's not coming back. That's done.
You know why people say that, but the guy Fury that fought Klitschko, it's not so much of what Fury did against Klitschko. It's
what Klitschko didn't do.
It's what Klitschko didn't do. It was. I never even watched the fight again. It was the fight.
It was boring.
Oh my gosh, man. It was boring. And I never even watched the fight again. To show you how much I wasn't into the fight, I never even watched the fight. I think that the strategy and the desire was all wrong for that fight. And Fury didn't do nothing. It's just that Vladimir that did even less. I think that Fury, I don't know, but people say, oh, he's the best fighter in the world. I said, if Fury is the best fighter in the world, God damn, the division is in serious shape. I mean, and he's inconsistent. He's inconsistent. You got an MMA fighter that came in there and beat you. He should have squeaked out a split decision. You know, I think that the guy should have got a split decision, or it should have been a draw at least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Fury won that fight. Maybe I got to go back and watch it over again, but they didn't do nothing. It just wasn't exciting. People say that the art of boxing is the hit and don't get
hit.
I can agree with that to a certain point. Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes were excellent boxers, but they boxed in a fashion that they dared you to hit them. They was always in the danger zone, and they honestly boxed their way out of danger. But the boxing I see now, you had Ryan Garcia in the ring the other night running around the ring. What is that? The Ryan Garcia's fans was booing him.
Ryan Garcia's fans weren't taking them blows from that Duarte. He can punch. Ryan Garcia's fans can boo all they want. They weren't taking him shots, and Ryan won't do himself any favors.
I understand. Trust me, I understand. I'm not an advocate for the guy to go out there and just take punches.
Yeah.
But like I said again, Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali, they were boxers that were in the danger zone all of the time, and they slipped and they moved and they maneuvered and they counterpunched and
because they had good footwork. That's why, Uncle. You talk about Ryan Garcia, his footwork is terrible.
They made it look classy.
Yeah, but they had good footwork as well.
And then these other guys, they out there, they run. They're moving around the ring. You know, you had people that was on Shakur Stevenson for his last.
Oh dear.
You understand? And now everybody and their mother is calling Shakur Stevenson out.
Well, if you choose to box that way, then you're going to get and you're vocal about other people. Oh, by the way, as we close, your take for this weekend: Haney versus what's this boy's name? Oh, the guy's name. Progress.
I got Haney. Haney wins a decision or either late stoppage.
Yeah, I got that too.
I think Progress. I think he's looking for power punches.
That's it.
I don't think you're going to get that kind of opportunity with Devin Haney. I think Devin Haney is more than well prepared. I think his speed, his boxing ability is going to get him over. He wins the fight, decision, unanimous decision, or either late stoppage.
Okay.
I think he's very capable. I think that Devin Haney is getting better. I think he's getting better. I think he's growing. He's getting better. You know.
Oh, one final thing. Cheney. Very impressed with that young man.
Who?
Cheney. He had a good win the other night. Cheney, the heavyweight.
Yes.
I'm impressed with him.
He knocked Don King's fight out, right?
Yes, Trevor Bryant,
Yeah.
bad. Beat him up, knocked him out badly.
So you
What
think
did you think?
I didn't see the fight. You think he's ready to go?
I think he's got what it takes. He's got heavy hands. He's got a nice jab and a good setup. He's got nice form about him. Nice form about him. Works behind a nice jab.
And he's a big guy, right?
He's Cheney, yeah, big guy. And when he hits you, you stay hit. But he's got them nut, but he's got a nice double jab and a 1-2. I like that. I like it, man. He's got good. But Cheney was in camp with I'm sure he was in camp with Klitschko at some point.
I don't recall him being in camp with Klitschko.
Okay, he spoke. It was Klitschko was in camp. Oh no, he was in camp with Tyson Fury, and I believe didn't he spar with Usyk? Yeah, he sparred with Usyk, Cheney.
Yeah, I didn't know. I haven't been up to speed on the sparring partners for Usyk, but I know he wasn't with Klitschko.
So it would have been Fury and Usyk then. That's what he's famous for, sparring with Tyson Fury and Usyk.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see the. I'm gonna take a look at the fight when we hang up. I'm gonna take a look at the fight with.
Yeah, Trevor Bryant did himself no favors. I don't even know. Anyway, not my business.
So Trevor Bryant is basically done.
He's finished. And when he knocked him out, I think he knocked him out. I think he was unconscious for 3-4 minutes. It was a bad knockout. I think he went face forward as well.
Yeah.
It was a bad knockout.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Take a look
Check that out. Yeah, I think Trevor Bryant, as far as I'm concerned, he's done. If you coming into a fight in that shape, and then it's not my career. Uncle Bashir, thank you so much as always, and give us a heads up should yourself and Miller actually go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, so yes, I will. I'll keep you up to speed on it.
Uncle, thank you so much as always for talking to BWTM Sports Gaming.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
And those who've been watching, thank you so much for watching. I'm interested to see what happens next. Take care and have a good night.